April 29th. Today we walked up Steel Rigg to Sycamore Gap and then to Housesteads Fort, and then later in the day we went to Vindolanda Fort. Quote of the day: I came, I saw, I conquered, by Julius Caesar. Song of the day: Another Brick in the Wall by Pink Floyd. Total distance today, 9 miles. Total steps, 21,800. Today was our last day of major climbs and descents. We left Twice Brewed around 8:30 a.m. Within minutes, we had a steep climb up a paved road to the Steel Rigg parking lot. From there, we got onto the Hadrian's Wall pathway and started to climb steps to the top of Steel Rigg. It took a while, but we made it. Once up on the ridge, we thought we had about 3.3 miles to get to Housesteads Fort. Today we're walking from Steel Rigg to Sycamore Gap and then to Housesteads. And this is from where we came. And there's a little panorama. And then over here is Teresa going up the hill, climbing up the hill. And then pieces of the wall, as you can see, and there is a kissing gate.
A little. There he goes. Oh.
Going to Mama.
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 Don't be videoing me.
You're doing great. uphill towards Sycamore Gap. It's the vallum below. It's the view coming from Rigg. Teresa, you're on top of the world.
Yippee-yi-yo.
From the view from above, way down there below, right over about there is the Twice Brewed Inn.
Whence we came.
There's Teresa. Hi, Teresa.
Riggy, let's go.
There's Teresa. We're going to be walking downhill. Perhaps we'll see where in a minute. The Mile Castle below. And then over there we go up a little bit. And you can see the little quarry to the left. It took about 3 hours to do. It was closer to 4 miles. Housestead Fort lies midway along the Hadrian's Wall. It's the most complete example of a Roman fort in Britain and one of the best known from the entire Roman Empire. It was built within a decade of AD 122 when work on the wall began and was garrisoned by an 800-strong infantry regiment until the end of the 4th century. Excavations have revealed major buildings, defenses, and civilian settlement outside its walls. Here we are at Housestead's Fort. There's one of the many guard animals from Housestead's Fort. We're heading towards the west wall. Here on the southwest corner, they had a tower and a bakery. And I could smell cookies and bread. I believe this is where they actually had the ovens for the baking of the bread. Here is the entrance at the west gate. Most likely they had an archway coming through here at the point of entry. It's the northwest corner. Most likely they had a turret here to a guard station. These are the barracks right here. Large number of barracks. Hundreds of soldiers probably stayed here.
Smelly men.
And there's one of them
Stinky,
as we look
men.
up. Here's the view from the north wall, and you can see how the wall goes on and on to to Coliford. This is turret 36B in the north, near the north gate. Take it back. They're not the latrines, they're the granaries. Okay, so it must have held the food off the ground. Here is the north gate, the actual entry point. This is the commanding officer's house at Housestead Fort. So this actually is the latrine. It's more on the southeast side, and you can see they've got the seating, and then there's some troughs down there where I guess the excrement would go of it. Just below the south gate are some homes where more common people lived.
The civilians.
And they found they call it the murderer's house because they found 2 bodies there. After visiting Housesteads, we took a bus to Vindolanda. Unfortunately, we had to be dropped off a mile outside due to road construction, thus another 2+ miles of additional walking of out and back. We really enjoyed our guided tour there. Steve gave us the VIP treatment and was really great at describing everything to Teresa. Vindolanda was first built by the Roman Empire before the wall. It became an important construction and garrison base for the wall, a Hadrian's Wall fort in its own right. During this time, it was demolished and completely rebuilt no fewer than 9 times. Each rebuild, each community leaving their own distinctive mark on the landscape and archaeology of the site. It remained in use for over 400 years before finally being abandoned in the 9th century. It's amazing how many artifacts they have found here. Coins, thousands of leather shoes, tools, and more. They continue to excavate and find new items almost weekly. The writing tablets are perhaps the greatest discovery and viewed as Britain's top treasure. Delicate wafer-thin slivers of wood covered in spidery ink writing. The tablets were found in the oxygen-free deposits on and around the floors of the deeply buried early wooden forts at Vindolanda and are the oldest surviving handwritten documents in Britain. Like postcards from the past, the tablets allow a rare insight into the real lives of people living and working at Vindolanda nearly 2,000 years ago. Give insight into private and military lives from a very different time, covering matters from birthdays through to underpants. Physical remains include a large pre-Hadrianic bathhouse, and a beautifully preserved 3rd century bathhouse, several commanding officers' residences and barrack buildings, a headquarters building, a 3rd and 4th century evidence of village houses, workshops, latrines, and a Roman Celtic temple to an unknown Romano-Celtic god. The only temple to be found on display to a Roman god inside an auxiliary fort anywhere in Roman Empire. Excavations take place every year at Vindolanda between April and September.